What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another TickerFeed video and welcome to the TickerFeed family. So the symbol we're going to be talking about today is TRCH, or Torchlight Energy, and I am super excited to be talking about this company. It has been a while, it feels like, on the news, so let's go ahead and just get straight to it. So what we're going to be talking about is how they are providing an update on the proposed business combination timing, the reports on the Form 10K, the record date, the Series A preferred stock, and then we'll finish this video off with a chart analysis and a price prediction. For those that have been supporting me so far, thank you so much. It really means so much to me and I really do appreciate it. I cannot thank you enough. And if you're here for the first time, welcome to the channel and welcome to the TickerFeed community. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so if you're new to my channel or if you're tuning in for the first time and learning about this stock, what you need to know is with Torchlight Energy, they're a company that owns a lot of oil and gas assets, but keep in mind, they're going to be merging with a company called Mmatf, and that's what you need to focus on. So Mmatf, the company themselves, has amazing technology, and what they have is this type of material used to control and mold the flow of electromagnetic waves, or possibly any other type of physical waves themselves. And also what I wanted to point out, yeah, there are quite a few stocks that I talk about every single day, but if you actually scroll, you'll be able to see about a month ago, I actually talked about this company. I broke it down, and so if you want to look further into the company and what's been going on, you can check out my channel. Okay, so Torchlight Energy provides an update on the proposed business combination timing. Now, this update was just yesterday, April 15, 2021. Now, keep in mind, they just announced this and it is continuing to work towards the completion of the regulatory requirements necessary to compensate the previously announced business combination, which is with Mmatf, which I was just saying earlier. So what they are doing is they're filed its 2020 annual report on the Form 10K. So let's check that out. So what is a 10K? So a 10K is a comprehensive report filed annually by a publicly traded company about its financial performance and is required by the SEC. Now, some of this information is where the company is required to document the 10K, which includes history, organizational structure, financial statements, earnings per share, executive compensation, subsidiaries, and any other relevant data. So keep in mind, it's not a big deal, but that's what a 10K is. Okay, so the report on Form 10K, so part of which are required to be incorporated by reference into the definitive proxy statement for the special meeting of the Torchlight stockholders in connection with that arrangement. Now, Torchlight expects to file a revised preliminary proxy statement with the SEC shortly. So Torchlight and Mmatf have extended the date by which Torchlight must give notice of and call its special meeting April the 30th. Now that's going to be 2 weeks from now, so put that on the calendar and keep that in mind. Now, which Torchlight believes will provide enough time to clear the definitive proxy statement with the SEC, set a record date for the special meeting of the stockholders, and mail the definitive proxy statement to the Torchlight stockholders of record as of the record date. So what does that mean, the record date? So let's check that out. So I would highly look into streetinsider.com. It allows you the opportunity to check out the dividends for any of the companies that you have dividends on. So it allows you to keep the updates. So you'll have the ex-dividend date, as you can see, for every single quarter. So you've got the type, the yield, the declaration date, the record date, and the pay date. So it'll show you each one of those dates and the history of it. So it's pretty awesome, and I would highly recommend it. So as you can see, it's really simple. You just look at Waste Management, or WM, and you put it in the ticker symbol box and then click search. But if you don't know what the record date is, first of all, the X date, or the X dividend date, is the trading date on and after which the dividend is not owned to a new buyer of the stock. Now, the X date is 1 business day before the date of record. So the date of record is the day on which the company checks its records to identify shareholders of the company. An investor must be listed on that date to be eligible of a dividend payout. So keep that in mind, and that's what they're talking about when it comes to record date. Okay, so Okay, so Torchlight Definitive Proxy Statement will announce the meeting date and the record date for the special meeting. Now, the record date to determine the Torchlight stockholders that will receive a dividend of the previously announced Series A preferred stock, which will entitle its holders to, among other things, receive dividends in connection with the sale of the Torchlight oil and gas assets, will be determined after the special meeting is held. Now, Metamaterial recently announced that it is the security holders have approved the special resolution relating to the arrangement at Metamaterial's annual and general special meeting. So, what is a Series A preferred stock? Okay, so there are other types of funding rounds available to startups depending upon the industry and the level of interest among potential investors. So it's not uncommon for startups to engage in what is called a seed funding, which I'm sure you might have heard that before, or an angel investor funding at the outset. So next, these funding rounds can be followed by a Series A, B, C funding rounds, as well as additional efforts to earn capital as well if appropriate. So with the Series A funding, so once a business has developed a track record, okay, the company may opt for a Series A funding in order to further optimize its user base and product offering. So opportunities may be taken to scale the product across different markets. So keep that in mind. Now in this round, it's important to have a plan for developing a business model that will generate a long-term profit. Oftentimes, seed startups have great ideas that generate a substantial amount of users, but the company doesn't know how it will monetize the business. Typically, a Series A round raises approximately $2 million to $15 million, but this number has increased on average due to the high-tech industry valuations, or sometimes called unicorns. Now, the average Series A funding as of 2020 is $15.6 million. So in a Series A funding, investors are not just looking for great ideas. Rather, they are looking for companies with great ideas as well as strong strategies for turning that idea into a successful money-making business. So keep that in mind. Now, by this stage, it is also common for investors to take part in a somewhat more political process. It's common for a few venture capital firms to lead the pack. Now, in fact, a single investor may serve as an anchor. So once a company has secured a first investor, it may find it's easier to attract additional investors as well. So it is increasingly common for companies to use equity crowdfunding in order to generate capital A as part of a Series A funding round. Part of the reason for this is the reality that many companies, even though which have a successful generated seed funding, tend to fail to develop interest among investors as part of a Series A funding effort. Indeed, fewer than half of seed funding companies will go on to raise Series A funds as well. So keep that in mind. I feel like this should be really good, pertinent information on what a Series A fund is. Okay, so when I'm looking at the chart, one of the first things that I always want to look at is what's going on with the Dow. So it's up 0.48%. The S&P 500 is 0.36%, and the NASDAQ is 0.10%. Now, with that being said, I always like to look at the trend line and the high. So as you can see, we've had a high of $4.83. And with that volume, which was going to be on February the 16th, we had 259 trades. So that's going to be sells and buys. Now, keeping that in mind, looking at the trend line, fast forward to today, we're looking at a volume of 11 million. Now, looking at the wick, it actually dropped. But again, looking at the wick above the body, we still closed higher than what we opened up as. So that's really good, and I really do appreciate that. So I'm super excited for this merger because, again, I think this is going to be a big deal. We've been going through this roller coaster ride. We've had that correction that was going on in March. Thankfully, the trend line hasn't changed, especially with the support against the resistance. We've stayed pretty equal, and so we've leveled out. Now, with that being said, though, I think towards the end of April, it's going to have an upward trajectory. And now, with that being said, now currently the company is at $1.40. Now, I'm thinking by the time we actually merge, we're going to be closer to $2. So I'm actually going to say roughly around $1.75 to maybe $2.10 as my price prediction. Now, keeping that in mind, I'll keep you updated on whatever the latest information is. That way you can make your decisions, whether that be buying or selling. Again, I'm not a financial advisor, but I do like giving you the best information that is out there as quickly as possible. So guys, I really do appreciate you tuning in and listening. I hope this was extra added value. And as always, welcome to the Ticker family.